Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to High Top Sports. Good to see you. Happy Saturday. Big W for the Florida Gators over Ole Miss. Final game of the season, boys and girls. It's showtime. It's March, which means madness is on its way. Of course, the SEC tournament will be first. Get a little bit of a taste of that bracket style of basketball, which I absolutely love. So we'll be talking about that today. Also, crystal ball for another top linebacker in the country. Florida Gators have received. We'll go over that. And I'm going to tell you, we may have mentioned his name the other day. You may have heard it here first. If you're following along, you guys are in the know-how if you're keeping up. Another day of spring practice. They played inside today due to nasty weather, a little bit of raining outside. And, man, I'm telling you, man, we know how I get. The lies flow in the offseason. And watching Dallas Wilson, man, he just gives me the same aura that Jeremiah Smith did last year. I'm not saying they're on the same level. I'm saying it's the aura. Just the size. He's a true freshman. Does not give me true freshman vibes. The entire team just looks phenomenal. The wide receiver room is out of this world. Russ Callaway said, oh, wow, when talking about them in a press conference today. Got a great show. Got Cody Professor joining us. Smash like button, subscribe, boys. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Cody, how you doing, big guy? Good to see you, man.
Hey, great day. Great day to be a Gator. Another big basketball win. Before we get into that, though, I think it's fun. This time of year is fun. You know, all the spring clips come out. I was actually, Derek the Duck, our Oregon guy, is jealous because they don't start spring practice for like another week or two. They're like 2 weeks behind us.
Yeah, he's chomping at the bit since seeing all this.
Yeah.
You're not wrong in the fact, let me see. We got Cam Parker joining us again here today. Hold on. He's just texting me. I want to make sure that we get him. Okay. All good to go there. Yeah, it is exciting. It's weird. You know, football ended in December, and it's March. We only had 2 months without it, but it feels like forever. And the clips give you a new sense of hope, a new sense of just freshness that you don't have. Look, when the season's coming to an end, boys, it's exhausting. You're kind of grinding, especially when it's not going your way. Now, I will say that this season ended on a very high note that made it me wanting spring ball more than I've wanted in a very long time. I'll tell you that. Not the portal where you didn't make as much moves, but I feel like we kind of got through that. We got through that kind of that drama, and now here we are. We're getting these clips, and my golly, man, it just. You can't lose spring practice. You know what I'm saying? I guess you can, but I
will say this. Billy Napier made a quote in his last presser. It kind of hit home for me. He said, we've figured out what we need to compete in the SEC. We know what type of talent we have to go after and we must get. I think when he got in here, he thought he could supplement a lot of guys, and then obviously the first year didn't go as well as what he thought. Second year, he thought, well, hey, we got to start recruiting at that top echelon. And it seems like now with the crystal balls flowing in, they may have figured it out what they have to have. I think maybe they were playing a little money ball early on, and now he's like, listen, we got to get a Dallas Wilson. We got to spend the bread for him.
I think they're always for spending. I think they've got the backing now. I think they've got the proof and the pudding a little bit. All of it's starting to sync up here, and it's starting to come full circle. Call me old-fashioned is the best day of the year tomorrow. I just told Cody. Cody didn't even know. We spring forward, boys. I love when we spring forward. Gets dark at 8:30. The smell of barbecue is in the air. I was cooking on the grill.
Cooler's out.
Yeah, cooler's out. I was cooking on the grill today. It's a good time of year, man. I love this time of year. Yeah, I love this time of year. You got March Madness, obviously. Just the days are a little bit longer, a little bit more crispiness in the air. The hair gets a little blonder with the sun, so I'm all for it. I love it. Look, let's dive right into the basketball game. Obviously, a big W there against Ole Miss. We'll talk about how that plays out. Then Cam will be joining us in just a few, and we will get into some more crystal balls as well from another linebacker. Dangle Des is blatant on the rocks for me. I love it. I was feeling myself on the grill. I had a little E.H. Taylor on the rocks. So it's feeling good. Feeling good. More time for golf. Absolutely, Clint. More time for golf. So look, Gators get it done. 27 wins, second most in regular season, second all time. So absolutely fantastic season for Todd Golden. I think about this basketball team, and it's not maybe the best comparison, but let's go back to last year how this Florida basketball team, ended. I think had a lot of excitement, a lot of potential. Loses first round to a Colorado team that got really hot at the end of the year. Not necessarily the success that Florida won. Goes in at a 7 seed and gets knocked out by a 10 seed. Definitely a blunder. And you got Will Richard and Walter Clayton considering going to the NBA draft, and that's kind of an off season. Like, what if? What are we going to do? We're able to retain them, right? And now we see how big of a play that was. Arguably the best backcourt in college basketball by bringing those guys back and adding Elijah Martin and seeing how this season ended up. The reason I say it's relatable to football is we kind of went through the same thing. You bring back some key players on this football team, just like Todd Golden did. Now, it's a much different animal. I understand that, but just feels like you said, things seems to be hitting their stride at the right moment. And again, this basketball team, man, has me fired up. And the future looks very bright for this team as well, too. But look, so long way to go. March is long. March could get a little
Yeah.
do-si-do with it. With this win and with Auburn going down today in an overtime against Alabama, which was a massive game. I mean, that game had a lot to give there. And for both those guys to kind of beat each other up and go to the wire, Auburn's I think has more losses now or the same amount of losses as Florida. They're still saying that Florida could be, bidding for a 1 seed. How this isn't an absolute lock is beyond me. I don't, with Auburn going down and Florida beating Auburn and Alabama, I just don't see how you could lose it. Some people say, well, it depends on how the SEC tournament goes. It's not going to affect those top seeded teams typically. Now, if Bama goes and wins it out, could they knock somebody off? That could be a part of it. It's rare that these guys you could lose a lot of drop down an entire seed because of how the tournament goes. So the weight isn't there as much as it is in the regular season. So even with how the SEC tournament goes, I don't think it matters. As of now, as of yesterday, here is where. Go ahead. I'll let you go. Then we'll go this.
I don't know if we get a lot of the same announcers for the basketball game, but over the past 4 or 5 games, I've heard this team is a definite Final Four team. This team's a Final Four team, and then today I started hearing this team can win a national championship. They're
Yeah.
that good. And then another thing that I thought was very interesting, any win in the SEC tournament is considered a tier 1 win. That's how good the SEC is. Like it doesn't matter if you go beat Vandy, it doesn't matter if you beat, whoever. It's considered a tier 1 win because there's so much the SEC is dominating college basketball right now.
And they said that Florida wasn't getting enough respect in the seeding because of their non-conference schedule. That was the reason.
Yeah.
They were a little reserved on.
Well, we dropped one to Kentucky too. We shouldn't have at Kentucky. That doesn't look great.
Yeah, but go look. We look at Auburn. The teams that are in front of us. It's not like they have great losses either. You know what I mean? I think
No.
Bama lost to Vandy. Auburn just lost to Alabama. I think Auburn has another loss. Tennessee lost to Ole Miss, but they're not in the conversation anymore. So I think the in-conference schedule was hard enough. It's ironic that now we're facing our out of conference not being hard enough in the football world. That's not even a conversation, but that is where it is. Here's where they have it projected as of yesterday. By golly, I would pay millions for this bracket. If we would land right now in the West bracket currently playing as a 1 seed, then we would then get at 8 or 9 Creighton or West Virginia. Michigan is 5, McNeese is 12. Kentucky is in this bracket. I would love Kentucky on a neutral field or court, excuse me. St. Mary's in Arkansas. St. Mary's is ranked 6. Wisconsin and Chattanooga, not the strongest of the Big Ten, I don't believe. Ole Miss and Utah. Obviously, we just bullied Ole Miss. And then Texas Tech has the 2 seed in Bryant. You look around. I saw one of them had us playing possibly UConn in the second round. I know UConn isn't the team of old, but I don't want to play UConn in the second round as a 9 seed. I don't feel good about that.
I don't necessarily want to play Wisconsin either because they have the bigs to match with our bigs. That's one thing they do have.
That's later
they
on
got
if they get that far. But look, we can't pick and choose our entire bracket code. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, I know.
But yeah, look, it'll probably switch 19 times if I'm not if you know. Who knows? Let's see where they had Alabama. Alabama was a 2 seed. So now they just won. They beat Auburn, obviously, who was locked in that top 1 seed on the left-hand side. So they had the number 1 overall seed going into this tournament. Does that change? Again, I think who wins the SEC tournament, if it Alabama, Auburn, or Florida wins it, that'll probably shake a lot of things up of the dominant one seed. If none of them win it, then I think that it's kind of it's locked in as it is, and whoever does win it maybe buys them an extra spot or two in the tournament. So we'll see how that
If
shakes up.
if you're Florida, do you kind of sit some guys and play some of the reserve guys more, or are you trying to win a SEC championship?
You got to get rolling. This is not a time to play games and get into that city mode. Like you have to go win an SEC championship. It's unfortunate that doesn't have the same sex appeal as I think as other obviously championships do. It doesn't mean anything, um, but go win it.
By winning one, you just beat the best conference in the nation, and it's probably going to be better than the national championship game at this point.
I think if they do win the SEC championship again, they'll lock themselves as the number one overall seed and ideally get, I guess, an easier bracket. I don't know how that kind of plays out. I mean, I don't know how you
Yeah.
really. We would get Georgia in the bracket, which I would love. I would love to be able to somehow play them again if it worked out. But that bracket doesn't look too intimidating either. So Oregon's in that bracket. We'll get Derek the Duck. That'd be a fun little game to watch. So
Oh yeah.
I love it. Let's see here. Clayton Martin and Richard didn't have one power conference offer out of high school. Wow. Look, basketball's weird like that, man. You can find talent, I feel like,
Yeah.
anywhere when it comes to basketball. And we had that kid Bowl who was the like 7'6", played for Ole Miss. He decommitted from Florida last year after being committed for 20 days. Ends up going to Ole Miss. He had like 1 point tonight, so that was fun to watch. Some kind of a full circle moment. Ben Chase actually tweeted to me, guys. I guess I quoted it last year when it happened. I don't even remember what I said. I just the smash talk was flowing. I can't remember exactly what was going on. So we'll see. The SEC championship game will be better than the Natty. Oh,
That's what
like
I
the
just
game itself, like the game, like just the competitive edge. Well, I mean, look, we could have
yeah.
an all SEC national championship. So Michigan State hasn't balling as of late too. Again, there's some of these teams that, again, with Izzo, they're that's a scary guy to coach against. That's more so where I'm with concern with UConn is when you get into these type of battlegrounds, you get into a close game. Sometimes a coach has been there a couple of times and have had success can find ways to take down a team that may be overlooking you. That's my concern of playing coaches like that.
I'll say this: it's kind of like football when Ohio State caught fire and everything started clicking.
Yeah,
I mean, minus Jesus and the disciples coming down and playing them, you knew that.
it
I
was.
mean, pretty much, it was locked. It was done
That's how UConn looked
because
the
they were
last.
just so much better than everybody else.
That's how UConn looked the last 2 years. It's been incredible to watch. Look, great stuff, man. We'll continue to monitor it. When does the tournament start? This weekend, I believe, right?
Yeah, I do believe it's this weekend. I'll say this, man. If I gotta put one gripe in there. From about 7 minutes left, the ball handling has got to get better. We just kind of get laxed in the
Hmm.
first first half from when there's 9 to 7 minutes left. The ball handling is just terrible. We just get like too sloppy with it. I don't know. 9 turnovers in the first half. Luckily, they weren't shooting lights out like Mizzou, but you can go and get down very quick against a good shooting team doing that. There's still stuff to correct. This team is not bulletproof. Okay, we're not. They're not beating teams by 60 every night. Like there are still flaws that Golden needs to correct. And I don't know what it is, but it we've talked about it several times. Right in the first half, with about 10 to 7 minutes left, they just get sloppy with it. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I agree. And Gerald Williams says the only thing I'm worried about is free throws. Same. I agree. I agree. The beginning
Yeah.
of the first half, I even put in the Discord, so this team sucks. I thought Cole needs to go because they were just sloppy. They just didn't look like they had it in them, and they were just kind of lackadaisical. But it's kind of their MO. It's their personality. But I've said this too. We kind of talked about it from with the Georgia last year. You don't want to have that habit created. So the tournament starts on Wednesday, so that's exciting. It'll be here before we know it. We'll get through tomorrow, and then we'll probably get the seedings announced. And so then it starts Wednesday, the first round. Second round's on Thursday. Quarterfinals is which when Florida will start because they'll have a bye for the first 2 rounds. So Florida does not play till next Friday, which is great. We'll probably do a live stream. I think that'll be a great time to do a live watch party for that
Yeah.
game, depending on the time of it. But I'll see what I can do. Again, because there's 4 different time slots, and it just depends on what seed we are. So hopefully we have a late one. I would prefer a late one. If it's in the day, I can't do a live stream. But the
I'm off all
Friday's the
day.
kickoff. Friday's kickoff, and then it'll be Saturday, Sunday. So we'll try to definitely get one of them in. Sundays and noon. Watch or 1 p.m. It looks like it's noon central. So play that championship
So
game.
so if Florida wins a national championship in basketball, we definitely got to fire up the live call-in show, right? For that
An SEC championship or just a national championship
Natty,
or
Nat or SEC championship. What do we think, guys? Fire up the live call-in for
I
a
think
big win
both.
on
Yeah,
the
I think an SEC
yeah
championship bodes for Colin for sure. Yeah.
yeah okay.
Good call. Good call. Yeah, man, it feels good. Feels good to be in this championship kind of mood. Although it's not football, but basketball, man, it's where it starts. Where it starts. Boys and girls, 200 strong. Be sure to smash the like button and subscribe. Let's while I wait on Mr. Cam Parker here, let's talk a little recruiting. We're on recruiting tab. We
Yep,
talked
Perry just asked for it.
perfect. Great timing, Perry. So Malik Morris, who I spoke about on, I think it was like Thursday show when we had the commitment from Isaiah Williams, the number 1 linebacker in the class, committed to the Florida Gators. Cody did a fantastic breakdown on that on the High Top Sports recruiting page. We talked about Malik Morris. We heard some great things in our Discord that Malik Morris is another name to watch out for. And then that dropped here today, just moments before the show, that he was crystal balled out of Lakeland, Florida, 6'1", 225. I'll pass it over to Cody now. He's ranked number 2 on ESPN, 8 on Rivals, 23rd running back. But overall industry, he is the 10th best linebacker in the class, almost a top 150 player in the country. So, again, this is partnering up with the number 1 linebacker already in the class. Am I sharing my screen here, Cody? Is that what we're doing here?
Go ahead, pull. I got them loaded.
Oh, whoa. Your mic sounds like crap. Yeah. You sound like a robot. No.
Better.
No. Hop out and come back. While I wait on Cody to get his things figured out. Again, Malik Morris was just crystal balled here today over offers from Miami, USF, Oregon, Texas A&M. So that could be the close of that linebacker class. Man, Florida has not had any trouble recruiting linebackers. We talk about it being linebacker you, especially with the likes of Jaden Robinson, Pup Power, Miles Graham, and of course Aaron Childs. We're gonna go over some and watch some of the clips from today. You'll see Ty Jackson. You'll see Miles Graham, Aaron Childs just looking like studs. Error starting interview. We're having a little bit of an issue here with our, our stream platform. Sorry, boys. Wow. Well, this would be a buzzkill because if he can't get in, I'm sure Cam won't be able to get in. I'll tell Cody to upgrade the Wi-Fi package. Let's read the comments here for just a minute. Would have been more happy in the O-Dome. Our linebackers look as good as the wide receiver room. Man, the wide receiver room is exciting. The linebacker room is exciting. The offensive line room, exciting as well. Yeah, gotta love technology, man. Technology, man, I makes me want to punch a wall sometimes. Garrett says, how much UF basketball influencing the football recruits just to winning the fun that's happening? Got to be attractive. No, I think the buzz helps. I think just the overall buzz is definitely. I think it's allowing for the appeal to continue, right? Because I think the buzz they had from last year helps, and I think yes, the constant Florida being in the news. I think it just people want to be a part of the buzz right now for sure. I don't think that guys are saying, "Oh, the basketball team's good, let's go commit to Florida," but I do think that it helps that just everyone when things are going well, people are in good moods and people just want to be associated with good things. And right now, this is a good thing. Now I got Cam Parker texting. Let's see, he's probably trying to get in. Golden just finished. All right, let's try this again. Very frustrating, boys. I apologize for the inconvenience. There we go. We're back. I blame Cody. I have no, bro. It wouldn't let you in.
I know it's acting weird.
Yeah, it was saying like some kind of guess. I have no clue what was going on, but hey, good to have you back. Good to see you.
Yeah. Did we see that Naheem Burrows just decided to go to Clemson?
Did he? Did he really?
Yeah, just dropped. I don't see that sticking. They don't have a quarterback.
Oh, here we go. Real quick. Let me while I'm on the Twitter page. Let's go to basketball really quick, and then we'll come back. Obviously, with this
Okay.
little hookup, this little hiccup here. This is what we're working with here, boys, for the SEC
give me
tournament bracket. So it looks like we'll have that 6 p.m. Central, so 5:30 kickoff on Friday. So I should be good to go for that game. We got to talk with the wife and see how get the thing figured out. But that's how it's looking right now. Shout out to our boy Jake Crane for pumping this thing out. That's what I figured we would be in that slot, but I wasn't sure if with the Auburn loss if we were able to get a bump up. Man, interesting take there. This reminds me of TJ Moore. Is it TJ Moore? I think
Yeah,
so.
the kid's stud.
Yeah. Where did you see this at? Is it Hayes Fawcett?
Hayes Fawcett just dropped it. It just binged on my Twitter.
From the clouds, huh?
Yeah, I don't think it sticks. It's early. They have no quarterback.
Or you saw how thick the room was.
Well, that's another thing too. That might be something that starts hindering them in the wide receiver recruiting
I don't
for a
think
year
so.
or two.
I don't know. You can't think like that. You can't think.
I mean, it is thick
It
with two
is.
C's.
Yeah. Do you want to pull up the Malik Morris stuff?
Yeah, I can.
Well, boys, now that we're back in action here, we're cooking with gas again. Cam Parker just finished up with the Todd Golden information, and then he'll be here in just a few moments. And then we'll get cooking.
I think this kid is going to develop into an edge guy. I really do. I don't think he's going to be able to stay at linebacker because of his build. See how he grows, but
It did it again. This isn't going to work. I closed it out.
It did what?
You sound like a robot. We're on the call.
Oh, go. Let's see if you can do it. Go to your shared screen.
I'm not worried about it now. I don't have a screen set up for it. So just talk about it a little bit, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. So this kid right now, I mean, he is something else. Plays true middle linebacker and running back. 6'1", 225. That's what I'm saying. I think he's going to grow into an edge player. Blitzes the quarterback extremely well. He's ranked 232 nationally, 15th ranked linebacker, 29 in Florida. Overall player, but I see him as a jack or where did what's his name just moved to? McCray.
He moved to Jack.
Oh, he moved to Jack? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he's built a lot like McCray. I think he's going to end up as a Jack there, which I'm fine with. This kid rushes the quarterback insanely well. He is just a different type of player. He's physical. When he hits running backs in the hole, they don't lean forward, they don't get an inch. This kid's going to be special. Definitely just by his play style out of Lakeland, those kids come, built right out of high school. So he's going to be special. I think it's a must get. And like we were talking about, I mean, who's the linebacker coach right now? I mean, we're getting some of the top linebackers
Robert
in the
Bottle,
nation
baby.
looking at us. And we just keep rotating linebacker coaches. So whoever's recruiting them, doing a dang good job.
Doing a dang good job for sure. What was the little bit you read before we hopped on the show? What did it say?
I can read it real fast.
Yeah.
This is from Andrew Ivins, director of scouting for Texas A&M. So, he's somebody, I guess. Pitbull of a linebacker that sees the game better than most at his age. Breaches the gaps extremely well. Gets ball carriers on the ground. Extremely active in the box as he seeks and plays through contact. Quick to read and diagnose with the eyes and can swiftly change course if needed. Downhill charger has proven to be a headache for opposing running backs on Friday nights, but doesn't appear to be the type of athlete that's going to win every foot race, which I have to agree with that from the film. Owns more of a muscular build at this stage. May outgrow his middle linebacker frame. We will have to see. Exciting junior tape, physical. He is a downhill runner as a linebacker and meets guys in the hole. Definitely a elite tackler that is going to be bent for a Power 4 program.
Yeah, look, everyone's kind of saying. I mean, there's a nice little spin here on the recruits. We've got the number one safety looking at us right now. I believe we recruited cornerbacks and safety very well last year. Quarterbacks, you could argue that we do a pretty damn good job recruiting those. Running backs, we may not have the star power when they show up, but by golly, they live up to the star power when they get here. So they do a pretty damn good job recruiting that. The wide receiver room, we've done a great job in the portal. I think this is going to be the first year how we see how the recruiting turns out. We're going to see those guys again, the Eugene Wilsons, the Dallas Wilsons, the Aiden Mizell. You're starting to see the class that was recruited come together and see it full circle. Because you got to think the last couple of years it's been built off of portal guys versus recruiting. So I'm excited to see how that plays out. But man, you're seeing it. You're starting to see things come together and starting to click. Where it's like, hey, we recruit these rooms well. It's like the only room that you could argue that hasn't been recruited well would be the offensive line room, but it showed progress last year, and you're seeing this line that was put together. It's been built over the last couple of years. So the development is there, and I think that's starting to be noticed, and so hopefully that will turn into that room being recruited well, and then all of a sudden you got something nasty. Defensive line, I think you could argue the same thing. I think that's another room that could use a little bit of an uptick of, again, just more of the stars perspective. I think that the talent's there.
And interior defensive line, I think we've done okay. There was somebody crying. I can't remember what fan base it was. Oh, Miami fan base was crying because we got Shivers and Michael. What's his name with a B? I don't know how to pronounce it. For last year, and he's like, get me, like, Florida's getting these guys in the interior that are 340, 350, 360. Like, we can't get them. Miami can't get them. And they're like, oh, we got a guy that's 305. And he's like, okay, 305. That ain't 340. That ain't 350. That ain't 360. I think we're recruiting well, and what I've seen every single class, it seems like we're elevating the talent. I look at the running back class and I look at the wide receiver class. I'm like, are some of these older guys gonna get playing time? Because this young group just keeps looking better and better and better every year. You go to the Eugene Mizell, Andy Jean class, that was a pretty good class, right? But you look at this class with Montgomery and Dallas Wilson and some of the others that they got, and it's like, whoa, this is different.
Yeah, no, it feels good. It feels, again, the buzz is definitely there. I'm excited to get Cam to talk about just more of it today. I do know that we'll find a little fatigue over the next couple of weeks because these practice clips they lose their sexiness, they lose their lust over the next couple of days. So I want to make sure that we.
Do they?
I don't, not for me. But I could see,
not for me.
You get 15 minutes of real, and that's how they keep rocking and rolling. Let's talk before he hops on here. DJ Lagwin, man, awesome stuff. This guy continues just to impress us all with what he's doing on and off the field. I don't know. There it goes. Today, for National Women's Day, pledged that he would be donating part of his NIL to the women's sports for Florida sports, kind of across the board: softball, gymnastics, basketball. What am I missing? Softball, baseball, chess, all women's sports, basically. And he didn't say it, but according to Pete Nakos on 3, that it's over 6 figures, which is pretty incredible to think that this show. And some people are like, oh, well, he's got it. Sure. He's got it. There's plenty of
100K is
guys
a
that
lot of money.
there's plenty of guys have got it. That doesn't mean they always just go ahead and send it like that. And the way that they're doing, I think and I love the way he's carrying it too. Is like, look, I'm making a stand because he at the end, I hope by me doing this, more follow. Like, let's make this the normality to give back what we're getting from the NIL. Let's give it back to some of these other sports to make the entire process better. And this just goes back to my belief of him just being a full blown Gator, right? Just like completely
Mhm.
sold in on the logo and wants to be here and loves being here. And wants to be a part of it. I'm pretty sure his girlfriend plays for the softball team. And I'm sure people are gonna
I was
tie
about
it.
to ask that.
Yeah, but either way, I mean it's still a big time move. And I think if especially some of these guys, again, I'm not telling people how to spend their money, but donating and supporting the people that give back to you, I think is huge. So I love hearing it. I love just hearing it's just different. I've seen a few others do that as well. I think Travis Hunter was one of those that did that at Colorado. He helped pay some of the players' NILs. Like they're like out of what he was making, he helped facilitate some of NIL because Colorado couldn't afford it. Didn't get a lot of noise, but that was just another one I know of. There could be more. I just haven't heard about it. But I like this approach,
Well,
supporting women
100
athletics.
grand's gonna go a lot. 100 grand's gonna go a long way in. Say it is 100 grand, right? It's gonna go a long
Six
way in women's
figures, six
sports.
figures. I assume that's probably the number. Maybe it's half. Maybe it's 500,000. I don't know. Who
I don't know,
knows?
but it's gonna go a long way in women's sports because those girls aren't getting paid. They're not getting paid like basketball, baseball, and football. I would assume.
I don't know. You're not. I don't think you're wrong. But
You
yeah,
know what I mean?
I
So
don't
it goes.
I don't
So
think anybody is on. I think basketball and football on their own tier. I think football's on its own tier. Then you got basketball, and then it kind of trickles down from there for sure.
yeah,
Baseball's probably in close to that close to basketball. More players. I just maybe
basketball. Yeah.
yeah yeah.
But you gotta understand if you have, say it's 100,000 or 500,000, that's a lot of money to an organization that isn't used to getting a lot of money. So you can go and get some elite girls for gymnastics, for girls golf, for what have you, whatever you want. It's just helping the Gator Made brand become so much more successful. I mean, we always joke that we're the everything college, right? And,
We
and
don't
when you
joke.
look
No,
at
no,
it,
no. It's not a joke.
it's not a joke.
We no.
We are.
We live
We
by
are.
that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But it's one of those things where maybe that 500,000 or 100,000 gets an extra national championship in this and volleyball or what have you. I think it's money well spent, and I think it's a good deal for DJ Lagway, and it shows that not only he is invested into Gator football, but he's invested into
To the brand.
all Gators,
Yeah, as
to
we
the
all
brand.
are, which we love. So good stuff there. Any word on Asa Turner? I haven't heard anything. Sheldon Hefner is a fantastic one. Billy got DJ because Billy is a class act. Agreed. I think this is where sometimes we overlook these things. With Ava Brown locking DJ in with Gator Nation, now we can get rid of Billy.
Is she a
Brand,
pitcher by chance?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, could you imagine the arm
Asa
strength if he had twins with her?
Asa ankles are at the 30-yard line still. Savio says best Gator podcast, my opinion. I appreciate it, man. There's a lot of great ones out there, man. I appreciate that. Shaq's daughter plays at Florida. He better be donating to Florida too. That may be just donating money. He better be sending it to that Florida Victorious. And look, let's give a quick shout out to Florida Victorious too, man. There has been some great content pumped out from Nick Del Toro. We talked about it with Eric when he came on, the CEO of Florida Victorious, not too long ago, about kind of the changes they would be having. Those changes rolled out on March 1st. A lot of it to the website and just kind of the benefits that you receive if you're a monthly donor. Much more, I think, involving for the donors. But what I'm loving, what I'm seeing is just the content that's coming out of the coaches, the interviews that they're pumping out. It's great content. We just want to be involved with it more. We want to see more. We want to hear more, which is great to see. Now Nick's writing pieces kind of like he used to for On 3. So a lot of great information there that you're getting straight from the horse's mouth. And I mean, they say all the time, there's literally no better time than right now to be a part of Florida Victorious, because you're really starting to see, I believe, the dividends pay off across the board right now. Across the board. I mean, everything is thriving, and it kind of, we took a few steps back to go 5 steps forward is what it seems like. And it's finally like, okay, we're making these steps and we're not tripping over ourselves finally, which is a good feeling.
It felt like that for a long time too,
It
right?
did.
And I'll say this. And me and Shelton have talked about this. I was not a facilitator of Florida Victorious in the early realm. Um, I just had concerns about how it was and being ran, and I felt like there was so much more things they could do. Ever since that they hired Nick, it's on another level. That was and Bree's doing a great job there too. It's They have changed Florida Victorious for the better. I have upped my donation personally. I'm not telling anybody else that they need to go donate, but personally, I donate every single month because I believe in it. I love the content that they are putting out. I love these coaches interviews. They're freaking awesome. Have you seen those? The Russ Calloway just had one. It was good.
Tyler
Tyler
Miles is
Miles.
awesome. Yeah.
Keep what does Billy always say? Keep it in between the lanes, Tyler
Bro,
Miles.
he did it perfectly
Love it,
too.
bro.
He did it. He did it perfectly too.
Yeah.
No.
So they have definitely hit on something that I don't think any other NIL collective is doing, for sure.
Yeah, look, I think
Home
this
run
is
hits with those two hires.
yeah, I think, being able to spend the money and get your players associated is big. But again, the big thing that they kept talking about was, if we could get everyone to donate, $10, a cup of coffee. That was always Nate Barbera's thing. All of our alumni. And his point was right. And I think where the fan base was pushing back is like, we need to see what's the return. And now with the content that we're getting, with the success, you're starting to see that. And I think it's all coming together, and people are feeling a little more inclined to, hey, I'm cool with giving you a cup of coffee, which is cool to see. Look, just like sales, if winning, closing, it cures all. And right now we're winning, and it's curing a lot of things. So I love it. I love it a lot. Boys, we're just waiting on Mr. Cam Parker to hop on here. Let's kind of before he gets here though. Tomorrow we're gonna have Zach Goodall, his first time back on the show since returning back to Florida. I want to try to talk to as many of these guys as we can. I try to get Nick Marcinko on. He's been a lot of these practices. Everybody sees different things. Everybody watches different groups, has different perspectives. There isn't enough guys we can talk to get a full synopsis of what's happening on the field every given day. And here he is on perfect. This guy's timing is impeccable. So we have Zach on tomorrow, and then on Sunday we'll be having again Lewis Murphy. And buckle up for this one. I'm not going to give you the name yet, but a top recruit may be making an appearance on Wednesday. We're working on finalizing it, but yeah, I mean, you're getting spoiled right now. It's big time. Cody doesn't even know what's going on. He looked up. He's like, "What are you talking about?
I don't know what's going on.
What's happening here? Listen, we're like the G and lasagna, okay, boys. We keep it quiet. We keep it quiet. I'm good to see. It's been too long.
Hello, I feel like I haven't talked to you in like 24 hours. This is insane.
Yeah, this is getting out of control. You don't do that to me again, okay? don't make keep it that long for me again.
I feel like every time we interview Cam, he's always in like a different place. Like it's gonna be like a Where's Waldo is Where's Cam? Like everybody guess. He should just show up to random establishments in Gainesville, like Balls or whatever.
Cody asked me earlier, goes, "Does Cam live in
balls.
Gainesville?" I was like, "No, he has a drone at the practices, Cody, that he's flying around." Like, what do you mean? Does he live in Gainesville?
I didn't know if you commuted.
Yeah, he's not making
I'm
those
about
commutes.
everywhere but Gainesville this week, but my apartment with all the events going on and other stuff. So, yeah, last night was outside of Condren Family Ballpark in a little parking lot with enough light. And then today I am in my car outside of the O-Dome. So hopefully the next time I'm on, I'll actually get to do it in my house. But anything to get away from my dog for the time being. The poor pup that I was just bragging about how much I love yesterday went full steam ahead into my TV last night and broke it. So we're keeping our distance from each other right now. We're going through a rough patch in our relationship.
Pitbull?
Yeah, a little pit mix. My roommate found him on the street in Gainesville, and low key, I love him to death. He's a sweetheart. I can see why his previous owner didn't always look for him. He's
yeah,
but
for sure.
I love him. I would die for him, but my God, he drives me nuts sometimes.
I don't know if you're convincing us or you right now.
I got two of them, and one day we were eating dinner and the leg collapsed because the dog
Oh,
chewed through the leg of the dinner table that we didn't know. So, you know, that they're cool. They're whatever.
This is
Pipples
this
are
is
something
high
else.
top dog. This is high top dog therapy right now. Y'all are
We've
helping me just
we've
talk through the
peaked.
pain.
We've peaked.
Yeah.
We peaked. Look, I got a tolerance. He cracked my laptop, so not necessarily quite a pit bull, but it hurts.
Same
just the
thing,
It hurts
bro.
just
They're
the
the
same.
same.
It hurts just the same.
Toddler and pit bulls are the same.
Yeah, that's probably true. They probably are the same. Well, look, man. I know we got another day of spring practice. They practiced inside today. Look, from what I pulled, we'll get to the clips here, man. From what I was just watching, Dallas Wilson, man, got me telling lies, Cam. He's got me telling lies. Jamari Lyons, I saw he was practicing. He looked good. Ty Jackson looked. I mean, everyone looked good. It's me. What are we gonna do? I will say, you'll see at the end of this clip, that arm from DJ Lagway looked extra strong with them handoffs. No loosey there. None of that was going on. So good to see that. But talk to us, man. I know we just talked yesterday about this, but we got a whole other day of information that you were able to gather in. How are we looking?
Yeah, I mean, we'll start with DJ. I mean, there's no massive update. Just talking with a couple of people that it just is a precautionary thing right now. Nothing really fishy going on, which we talked about last night. So I don't want to go too in depth with that. But yeah, I mean, again, he's working with the quarterbacks. He's doing simulated throws off to the side, and then when the running backs are doing drills, he's still getting work in doing handoffs. So he's putting that shoulder to as much work as he can right now, all things considered. But yeah, I mean, the big news of the day, again, it's hard to take away so much from these practices, but Jamari Lyons back on the field for the first time. He wasn't at practice yesterday unless he was in the weight room, which is probably where he was. But back on the field for the first time, he looked good. Non-contact jersey, I imagine it's going to be that way for most, if not all, of spring camp, just to get him eased back in. But he looked good. I mean, just in the little drills, he looked fluid. Didn't really look like there was any limitation so far. He did go back in the weight room as soon as the open period ended. So, he's doing some drills, but not participating in everything right now. But just a sign that he's back on the field in itself it's a big win. The severity of his broken ankle, the fact that it was the first scrimmage of fall camp last year, and it kind of put a damper right away. And second practice in spring after Billy talks about how he could miss some time, he's back out there doing some big things. So it's good to see him out there. Dallas Wilson obviously is just, every time a clip comes out about him, it's going to go crazy. He's freaking huge. I mean, he looks like a senior. We talked a little bit yesterday, kind of like the Jeremiah Smith instant impact freshman. The main thing is Florida's receiver group is just so depth heavy, I guess. Like, there's so many guys that you can plug and play, but Dallas Wilson's going to see the field this year. There's no way that you can't keep a guy like that off of it. It just, size alone, you got to have a guy like that out there. But yeah, I mean, it's so far so good. We also talked to all the coordinators today. So talked to Russ, talked to Joe Houston, the game changer, and then obviously talked to Ron Roberts today. So a lot of learning and a lot of adjusting, because both coordinators are in new roles too. Russ Callaway is now offensive coordinator, larger impact on running the offense, but obviously Billy will still call plays. And Ron Roberts no longer coaches the linebackers. He floats around through the entire defense. Robert Balla has that. So a lot of good stuff today. We'll have some content up on the site, and then but yeah, it's spring ball, man. Just enjoy it while you still can.
Agree. We were talking about that, kind of just the high that we're getting from it. Couple of things. Jamari Lyons, familiar to Jack Pyburn last year. I remember when we first got into spring, non-contact jersey, wasn't doing a lot. We know how that rehab ended up, had a great season. So, like you said, the fact that he's on the field day 2, essentially, of spring practice is a really, really good sign. And that's somebody that we all know was arguably probably fighting for a starting spot last year. So if he's able to get back to what he was before the injury, I feel a lot better at the defensive line, because I think that is definitely a point of question marks, just given the fact that who we lost to the NFL, one being Cam Jackson. Shout out to Cam Jackson. I forgot to mention this, but he was at practice yesterday. Just a logo guy, man.
He's
Comes in and really embody the logo, which you just love to see. The other being with Dallas Wilson, again, and I keep talking about him. And like you said, he's going to see the field. You can't afford him not to see the field. But the clips, and again, I said at the beginning, you said it again, just that Jeremiah Smith aura that he brings when you see him. Not only the size, but the speed that he's coming off the line, just that twitchiness right off the rip, looking good. Elgin McCray looks really good. Just last year, I felt like he had the size and a lot of hype coming into it, but at times may have not looked necessarily comfortable with moving to that jack. Seems like they've kind of a switch has flipped for him, and he seems dialed in. Somebody asked who number 7 was. That's Ty Jackson, the new freshman linebacker, once a number 1 linebacker in the country. That's who you're saying, and he's looking the part as well. And Tyreek Sapp, my goodness, that is a grown man. Everybody is looking absolutely good. Austin Barber, we'll see him a little bit later on. They talked, I can't remember who said he looked better. I think you did, and there's a couple of articles. He does look fantastic. He looks like just a nice, healthy, physical offensive line. Usually the guards are a little bit bigger, where the tackle's going to be a little bit lighter but leaner. He looks good. He's starting to look the part, which I love Austin Barber, which really, really excites me. So, man, it just seems a little smoother. I know we're 4 years in. I know it's 2 days in, but things seem to be a little bit smoother, Cam.
Hey,
yeah,
Cam,
and just talking about Dallas. Yeah.
Go ahead, Cam.
Well, just real quick, just about just Dallas and the freshman receivers. Russ Callaway talked a little bit about this, and I forget which site posted the article on this, and there were some people were feeding into the off-season lies and whatnot. But Russ Callaway talked a little bit about today about they don't have to exclusively run the offense in 12 personnel anymore. You could see 5 wide with the receivers because Florida has so many that can play and can play now. They could do 4 wide. He talked about the 3 freshman receivers and how sometimes it almost annoys him how much they want to work in the indoor and whatnot, and just their commitment to wanting to be great receivers right away. So it's cool to see too that Florida's got kind of experience with J. Michael and with Eugene Wilson, but it wouldn't surprise me to see all 3 freshmen play. Just because Florida has more depth and more variety where they could run different packages. Now, granted, I'm also kind of on the I'll believe it when I see it, because we've been talking about that for a little bit. But it's a good sign that they have that option at least. And so I'm hopeful for them that we'll get to see different packages. I think a package with all 3 freshmen on the field could be interesting. But again, we'll see. But great early investments, it looks like so far, in those 3 freshman receivers. And then when Muiz Tonkara comes on, that'll be another 4th great freshman investment too.
That's right.
I got a 2-part question for you, Cam, real fast. Cormani McClain, absolutely, apparently shredded up. Does he look like a different person out there? Obviously,
yes.
Thin build, thin stature. Does he even look like Cormani if he didn't have, if he took the helmet off and you didn't know who he was? Does he even look like the same guy from last year?
The only way I could tell it was Cormani McClain was the fact that he wore a 25 jersey with McClain on the back of it. He looks completely transformed. Shelton and I talked a little bit about this yesterday, but he's gained, at least since he's been at Florida. I know on the Colorado roster, he was listed 17 or 18 pounds lighter than he is now. So he's put in a lot of work since transitioning over from Colorado to Florida. Even asked Ron Roberts today about that too, because obviously the other day you got everyone praising Cormani. Well, now Ron Roberts has said good things too, just about his investment, his attention to detail, growing pains as a 18-year-old. Ron Roberts even joked that as an 18-year-old he was kind of cruddy, so these players have high expectations on them. And Cormani, after struggling early, has risen to that. He has been great throughout this offseason, really just stuck his head down, willing to do the work, and it's paying off. He's gained 20 pounds since he's been in Gainesville. He's now fighting for a spot in the rotation, and depending on the injuries, he's technically corner 2 right now. Devin Moore would be CB1, Cormani McClain would be CB2. These are all the injuries that are going on, and he's taking on a leadership role with not just the corners, but the entire defensive backs. He's working with Lagonza Hayward. He's working with Ben Hanks. He's working with Drake Stubbs. So he's doing all of the right things at the right time. and he finally looks like a Division I player size-wise. We all knew he had the ability to be one. The size was always the kind of concern physically with him. Doesn't seem to be a concern anymore. So it's if again, I said it yesterday, for day one winner of spring camp, it'd be Kamani McLean. By the end of the spring camp, he very well could be just the entire winner of this whole thing. Just
Who's day 2
everything that we're hearing about him. Day 2 winner, it's probably, I mean, Jamari Lyons, just from the fact that he's back on the field. That would be this my main takeaway from that, is just how much of a weight off of everyone's shoulders and how much of a blessing it is just to see him back out there. Play of the day, I'll give a special shout out to my guy David Schmidt, preferred walk-on from nearby Newberry, Florida. I know him very well. Got to know him when he was a high school recruit. He had a great catch, diving effort on a deep route, so it's just cool to see that too from a guy that I know. But yeah, I mean, Dallas Wilson's had a strong camp. Vernell Brown, just you name every freshman, they've been praised, and that's something that I think Florida. Yeah, they get the hype of some of the recruits. The coaches want to hype them up. But now you really feel it. Now you really feel like these guys are just, they see the future right before them, and the future is now. That these guys can be on the field right away. And so, overall winner for day 2, just Jamari Lyons being on the field. But it's hard not to drink the Kool-Aid with what we're hearing about these true freshmen.
Can I ask you this also? As my second part of the question, you've been covering UF for a little bit. Is this the best crop of freshmen physically that have walked onto campus and you've seen and have said, okay, these, like, usually it's like 1 or 2 kids. These kids look like sophomores, juniors, seniors already?
Yeah, I mean, it's night and day. I mean, last year it was pretty good. We saw Miles Graham, and when Aaron Childs eventually got on in fall camp, we're like, wow, these dudes are massive. They're going to see the field early. Obviously, LJ came with the hype. There was Jaden Ball was a linebacker in high school too, and then obviously DJ Lagway, and then just by name alone had hype. But this year it really feels like across the board, rather than 1, 2, 3, or 4 guys out of a 25 guy class. There's 20 maybe of the 26, and that's because 6 or 7 of them aren't on campus yet. Jaden Woods was praised extensively yesterday. We're seeing firsthand just how massive Dallas Wilson is. Nashawn and Vernell Brown are 2 of the fastest guys, it looks like. And, Joe Houston today talked about, I think at least 2 of the freshman receivers working as punt returners and competing with like 10 other guys for that role too. Stephon Shivers is massive. I mean, that is a big, big dude. And I know he's hurt right now, so he's non-contact, but I mean, by the time he gets healthy, it reminds me of when Des Watson first stepped on campus in 2021. Big guy, got to put him out in the field. Maybe not an impact player necessarily, but he can be in the rotation, step in for a few snaps, maybe make a play, and then you get your veterans back out there, and at least he gets some in-game experience. So Stephon Shivers is huge. I mean, he's going to be one of the biggest guys on the team and carries his weight well. It feels different. Just feels different with this freshman group. And we always say the DJ Lagway effect, how when he committed, well, then the class in 2024 started to build around him. You saw some of those key pieces. Now it feels like, well, there's 26 guys that really want to be a part of this. Those 26 guys can play now. So it's looks good. This freshman class looks really good.
I sent the clip of Stephon to our guy Stephen Harris, obviously defensive line, because he was working one-on-one with Chapman, and that's exactly what Harris is. Like, that kid's huge. Was the first thing, and I said, looks like he needs a little bit of TLC. He goes, absolutely. He goes, that kid's gonna be a menace, and he was working with one-on-one. I think, and again, I didn't realize he was injured. Obviously, I should have, because he had a black no contract. But it looks like some technique could be something to work on. But like you said, plug him in. Just from his sheer size alone, already carries it well. Will have some impact early, and once he can develop, will be a real threat as time goes on. Caleb Banks is somebody I think of too last year that needed a little TLC at the beginning of the year, and look what he ended up being. So good stuff. And yeah, Nashawn Montgomery, man, I think it was Byron Lewis on Twitter. No, it wasn't Byron. It was one of the linemen. That was kind of because everybody was talking about this freshman class of wide receivers, and we kept talking about Dallas Wilson and Vernell Brown and all that. He tweeted, he goes,
Nation's special.
yeah, he said, don't forget my boy Nashawn. And when we were watching the clips, man, explosive, big, again, kind of carries all the right features as well. Like you said, could be a legitimate threat to be starting. And when you think about that wide receiver room, that Nashawn Montgomery, who didn't necessarily carry all the hype coming into it, could be a real threat. So, Cam, great stuff as always, man. This is so awesome to get just to pick your brain and talk to you. I know these guys love hearing it, and just we love the Kool-Aid. We don't mind you filling our cup up. We'll continue to drink it. We're a bottomless pit over here of lies, so we're ready for it.
Yeah.
Happy to feed into it. A happy lying season, everyone. Let's get them out now before the disappointment sets in at some point in the season. Let's have some fun. But yeah, I mean, Nashawn, it's again that kind of underrated guy, with Trey Brown and Dallas Wilson being 5 stars, one being a legacy, one with a crazy recruitment. But I think the nice thing too is Florida doesn't have to demand these freshmen be starters right away. They can be in the rotation and still have a big impact and still make plays. And then when, it's J. Michael leaves and when Trey decides to go to the NFL, they can step in seamlessly, like the traditional recruiting route from like 5 years ago, where freshmen kind of wait their turn, but they make an impact. And then when they're sophomores and juniors, they have a big impact. So I like what Florida's doing with them. I like how they're just easing them into it, but still finding ways to, potentially get them on the field, either on special teams or in the rotation. It's Kool-Aid season, so we're gonna keep drinking it until the cup runs out.
I love it. Well, boys, go give Cam Parker a follow on X, Cam Parker 25. The reason being is because these clips are flowing earlier today. So if you want to be able to get to see the clips before the show, go keep up with it. Go turn the bells on, see what's going on. He's constantly pumping out news, and of course with basketball, you're at the game today as well too. So it's not just football; it's all Florida sports that he's pumping out content right now. The man has not slept. I mean, that's why your dog's upset. He's mad he misses you. That could be what it is.
Dude, it's his fault that I don't miss him. So he's got to learn.
He misses you because you're not there.
Oh, well, it's not mutual. So he's. I understand he gets excited, but tame it down a little bit. Don't ruin it. We'll get it figured out. We'll get back to the drawing board with him and start teaching him some manners. But no baseball game tomorrow, so I'll finally get to do some catch up with football stories. I'll have a story tomorrow. I'm going to try and get one on the punt return competition. Joe Houston named like 12 guys who are competing for the punt returner spot right now, so we'll have something on that up there. Our guy Dylan Olive got a Jaden Woods story up today, so PFF's favorite nerd, high top alum Dylan Olive, go check that out. And obviously we'll have some good content all the way through fall camp now that basketball's kind of slowing down and Florida gets a double bye with the SEC tournament, so it should be a good week.
Cam, you're the man. We'll chat soon. I imagine so. Go get some rest. Tell the pup we love him.
We'll do, and hopefully next time I'll finally get to be in my room or in my apartment and not in a car or in a parking lot.
I love Cam on the go. Honestly, I prefer to
be
be like
it could be the sticky floor with balls too.
Yeah, I want you to be somewhere new.
Yeah. I'll keep you guys on your toes. Maybe I'll just do one right on the field or right on the court or something like that.
Oh God, we'd love that.
Yeah,
I mean, don't
spoil us.
Okay, don't tease us.
I'm sorry.
That'd be sick. Like true ESPN fashion.
It's always on the go, man. It never stops during spring.
I love it. Drive safe, man. Be good. Forgive the pup. He didn't mean it.
I'll do my best, boys. I'll see you next time.
See you, buddy. Wow, boys and girls, great content, great information. Per usual from our guy there at Cam Parker. Again, tomorrow, Zach Goodall will be joining the show. I'm not quite sure. We're going to shoot it later on at night. And then I may be posting that Monday morning, though. Probably take tomorrow off. Probably him and I just shoot one-on-one. Not do a live show. And then Monday afternoon, 8:05, live Lewis Murphy and Stephen Harris. I'm sure I want to get his thoughts. He loves watching these films, watching these takes. And again, you may think, like, what does a guy get out of these films? He told us a lot last year. He was able to kind of foresee a lot of things the difference that Chapman came in and was making right away, and we saw it 5 months later. So if you haven't seen him break down practice film, it's an absolute blast because it's like trying to figure out a Rubik's Cube of what we're seeing here because we don't know exactly what we're always looking for. So he breaks it down at a very good rate, and it's great to tell. And then again, getting to pick Lewis Murphy's brain, say his thoughts and opinions about everything, and just talk. I think from Florida ball will be fun. And then again, Wednesday, we could have ourselves another special guest. So, and then of course we get right into the SEC tournament. So we are full blown rocking and rolling, no joke, probably until the spring game. We are full guns a blazing for the next 30 to 40 days here, and then May June is usually a big time for recruiting.
Yep,
we're not going anywhere. That's what I mean to tell you.
Yeah,
Hey,
just lock it in.
Yeah, is Dangle with Dev here? He said he has. I'm catching him in subs, so I looked him up when during the show. He's got 25,000 subs. He's a fisher. He fishing YouTube channel. What's up, bro? You me come show you how to catch fish? Bro, let's get after it. Boys, we're catching bass and whatnot. No invite. What's up, dude? Little collab.
I just bought an ACC crappie pole today. I mean, come on now.
He's in Florida though.
A big crappie in Florida.
All right, boys. Well, y'all be good. Great show as always. Smash the like button, subscribe, keep the bell turned on. We're rock and rolling here, boys and girls. I'll see you in the next one. Peace and love, baby.